messaged I I just messaged Akeen and Deborah because they both said they were coming.
Yeah.
So hopefully they'll pop on.
Okay, that's perfect.
Cool.
Okay, perfect. So why authority power? Why should we bother with authority power? Authority power is going to do a really three major things for you and your business, because that's what we're focusing on, right? We want to get more right fit clients who pay a higher dollar value and who convert faster. That's why we're here. We want to make more money. Authority power quickly removes you out of a sea of sameness and a crowd of, I don't want to say posers, but your competition that can't do quite what you do. I know I would bet the farm on this that you are able to help your clients in a way that is disruptive, transformative, and unique. I believe that. Number two, it helps to make you the go to when a lot of people are starting to lean into AI and using AI as their advisor, which is a little frightening. Again, if we go back to this idea of WebMD, when WebMD came out, everyone became a doctor. It was amazing, but they didn't know what they were doing. And they still had to go to the doctor. And slowly, the attraction of WebMD slowed down. I don't think we're going to have the same thing with AI. I think it's going to get better and better and smarter and more pervasive. And what we don't want is for AI to erode our revenue share, where someone thinks, I don't need to hire you. I can just look it up and use AI. No, no. AI can do certain things and it's a tool, but we want to show our community that we have thought leadership and thought followership that allows us to be the go to and the trusted advisor. So that's number two. Number three, it's going to help with breaking through the AI barrier on the flip side. Google is starting to lose its hold on search because of AI. If you Google yourself, which I highly recommend you do, see what comes up for you. See how many pages come up, see what kind of content comes up. Then I want you to go onto two or three AI platforms and put your name in there and see what happens. You
Like
might
what?
have,
Sorry, what AI platform would I
oh,
search my
sure, Claude,
Claude?
ChatGPT. Yeah, any of
So
those.
I could put in Nona Prather in Chat GPT and it'll spit back something
Who is Nona Prather? Put
and
that
it'll
in and see what comes back. Yeah.
okay, I'm gonna do that.
Yeah. And I don't know if you want to
I'm
do that right
curious.
now. And I have no problem with you doing that
Probably
right
no,
now.
not right now. Not right now, but
Yeah.
I'm writing
Yeah.
it down so I don't forget. But
Yeah.
I have definitely Googled myself
Oh yeah.
and
And you should absolutely Google yourself. I totally agree, Nona. But
yeah.
the next frontier for you to get past is AI. If you
Hmm.
put in who is Nona Prather and see what comes back, it should be spitting back your own content and what you're known for. If it
Cool.
says I'm not sure, if it says um, you know, from what I've searched, she could be that,
Yeah.
at least you're getting warmer, but you want it to say, from my research, Nona Prather is, a booking agent who, runs Speaker Elevation and, she has been, she has this book and it should spit out more information.
And if it doesn't, you're probably going to
Then
go into what we need to do. Is
yeah,
that your
yes. Well,
Okay,
I'm
sorry.
going to
I looked
touch
that
the
up.
surface. There's a lot of things that you'd need to do.
Okay.
But it's the next frontier for you to break through.
Cool.
So, if you have books, Tammy, does it does it spit back the books you have? If it
Yeah.
doesn't, then that's an area that we need to help it find. And that
Okay.
can be on your LinkedIn. That can be when you speak on a podcast. That can be when you are in a video. That can be on your website. Anytime you can mention these things into it. Um, and let me lean into this just a little bit more. So, AI is looking for categories and lanes. Categories and lanes. If you help AI understand what your area of genius is, what you want to be known for, it can then funnel that and look for that. But your content has to support that area of genius. I have been dubbed America's digital content futurist. And you best believe it is everywhere. I mention it when I speak. I mention it when I'm on live interviews. I mention it when I'm on webinars. It's mentioned in my book. It's mentioned on my website. It's on my LinkedIn. It's in my headline. It's everywhere because I want that statement to be associated with me and my name. Lisa Apolinski is America's digital content futurist. I'm also saying it here because AI is starting now to look at video. So I want to make sure my video also supports what I am known for. You need to find that niche, that area of genius. You need to lean into it and you need to own it like it is your job. You can also help AI by saying, is Lisa Apolinski America's digital content futurist? And then see what comes back. And now you're asking that, the flip side of that. And so now it's going, oh, why are you asking me that? Because it does have intelligence and then it will go out and search for things. So again, I don't want to say we're trying to trick the system because that's not it. We're trying to help the system understand who we are, what we stand for, and what we do that gets results for our clients. And we don't want AI to guess. Just like we don't want our future prospects, our future clients to guess. We want to make it very clear to them what it is that we do. Oh, and I say I have a chat. Oh, thank you, Tammy. Aw, that's lovely. So I'm going to read this. I'm already blown away with this information. The genius you are providing. ChatGPT even brought up a YouTube video for it. Yes, yes, that is what I'm talking about. And Sorrel and I had a conversation last week, and we talked about SEO. Hi, Sorrel. Um, Sorrel Roger is amazing. Yes. Hello. And we were talking about SEO. I live in the world of multiple right answers. I think, oh, okay, that's okay, Susan. Yeah, if your internet is a little unstable, you can cut your video and it should stabilize it, just as an FYI. So if you need to do that, don't even worry. Um, yeah. So SEO, search engine optimization, is where we are making a guess on how people are going to search based on specific terms. So if I need to replace my garage door because one of my Airbnb guests backed into it, which has happened to me, I say in Google, garage door repair in Phoenix, right? That's my search. If I went to AI, I might say, who are the top 5 garage door repair companies in Phoenix based on reviews and pricing? There might be a different criteria. So my Google search is going to be more generic, and my AI search is going to be more of like if I ask Nona, hey, Nona, do you know a really good garage door repairman in Phoenix? I need to get my stupid door fixed.
And then you don't have the ads either. You know how Google brings up all those paid
Yeah.
ads, and you click on the
Yes.
first one and you're like, oh, this is an ad. This isn't what I was looking for.
Right. That's
Yeah.
totally it. That's totally it. And that's
Yeah.
also how companies kind of trick the system. SEO is uh it's a game that you have to pay to play and pay to win. If you put in digital marketing expert in Google, I won't break the top 1 million. And my co-author Mark Schaefer, who to me is the gold standard of marketing and personal branding, wouldn't crack it either. I can't win in that game because I need hundreds of thousands of dollars or more to be able to get seen. What I can do is invest in me, my name, what I want to be known for, and make sure that AI sees it and my community sees it. I don't, it's not that I don't want you to totally ignore SEO. What I don't want you to do is think that that's going to be your savior. It's to me it's more beneficial for you to claim yourself and your authority power and share that with the universe and AI rather than try to play a game that is stacked against you. And I told Sorel when we talked last week, one of the things that really kind of just creams my corn is Google decides 70% of what search results are coming back to you based on who has paid to play. So you're only competing in a 30% market share for those keywords if you're not doing Google ads and doing Google search terms, which most of us are not doing because it's flippin' expensive and the return is garbage. I don't want you to spend your money that way. I'd rather you spend your money writing a book and putting your content out. And as you're writing a book, you can actually feed that into the AI platform with your name and say, hey, you know, Tammy talks about blah, 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 blah. You know, you know, what are other opinions on this type of work? Or, and you can feed your content into AI, which again is helping AI see you for the authority that you are. Okay. So, what creates an enduring legacy? All of this investment, understanding what we want to be known for, what we can be known for. And I know some of you might say, oh, well, what I do isn't disruptive or it's not, eh, I don't think I do anything earth shattering. I would argue that you haven't really looked at your process and something that you think is clearly obvious is something that is a game changer to your clients because they never thought of it. It doesn't matter if you've thought of it, it's whether or not your clients, your audience go, "Holy bananas, that's amazing. I would have never thought to do it that way." And by getting into authority power, we're now separating ourselves from everybody else. I talk about standing out, standing up. I actually want you to stand apart. To me, standing out is separating yourself. Think of like, when you were back in high school and you had that cool table with only a few like really crazy cool people that you were like, oh my God, they're so cool. They owned who they were, they stayed apart, and that's how they stood out. They didn't want to become part of the sea of sameness. And that's what I want for you. Okay, let's see if this will go. Nope. There we go. Aha. There are three aspects of your authority that you should be very, very clear on: who you serve, what you solve, and what value you provide. Who you serve. I don't serve everybody. I'm very clear on that. I have a niche and I'm good with that. And the reason why I have a niche is I want to have a select number of amazing right fit clients that I know when we work together, they're going to set the world on fire. I want to make sure that they are clear in their authority, that they have their known statement, that all of their messaging is aligned, and they're not fighting me along the way. They're not resisting being coached. They are very, very good at taking feedback and trying new things. They show up on time. They have respect for my time and what I'm doing. They have respect for me. And I've had clients that, you know, I worked with them and you just knew they, they were just not the right fit. It just was not working out. And also, and again, we're here to make money. Let's be very transparent. We're all here because we want to make more money. They were able to pay. They didn't fight me on payments. They understood the value, they understood the investment, and they were willing to do the work. They did whatever it took to get there. Those are the clients that I know that you want. And that is going to be a mindset niche, an industry niche, maybe a geolocation niche. It's going to be a community that you're building. It's not going to be hundreds of thousands of people, and that's okay. It needs to be a community where you're having an impact, they connect with each other, and together you bring something to the table that's much stronger. Mark LeBlanc is a business coach that I've used that is part of our community, and I love when he says this. There you go, growing your business. Yeah. If you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, bring people with you. And that's what the community is. We want to go far. It's not about going fast. It's about getting bigger and stronger and, having that legacy. So that's number one. Who do you serve? If you think about, if I asked you, hey, I can wave a magic wand and I can make 10 of one of your clients multiply, and you would have 10 of those types of clients. Who is your ideal client in your mix right now? If you think about it, and I'm sure you've just come up with someone, what mindset do they have with you? What's their story? What type of work are they doing that you're impacting? All of these aspects help you decide who you serve. I work with authors, speakers, consultants, and business owners who want to establish or reestablish their authority power so they become the go-to. When someone says, I know a guy, I want you to be that guy. That's it. That's what I do. Oh, that's so funny. Yeah. Yeah, Sarah, absolutely. Yeah, I just wrote down that very quote on Friday. Absolutely. Absolutely. So that's number one, who you serve. Number two is what you solve. What is your brand purpose? I know you can solve 1,000 things. There's no doubt in my mind that everyone on this call, anyone watching, has so many things that they could do. Again, if I could wave a magic wand for you and you had a signature offering, your silver butter knife offering that you're known for this. I took Nona to the Bali High in San Diego, and what they are known for is the Bali High Mai Tai. It is
Yeah.
a world famous Mai Tai that will knock you on your tuchus
Russell
in a
didn't even
matter.
finish half of it. Yeah.
Yeah,
And he was falling over.
and he was falling over. I mean, but that's what they're known for. Their views, yeah, absolutely. You get to see San Diego Harbor, the downtown, but that drink is their signature. And they've sold, I think, 3 million of them. It's a lot. And they keep updating when they sell the next 500,000, they update their menu. That's how important it is to them. What is it that you solve? So, and again, I'm stealing from Mark LeBlanc because I love this exercise. Um, if I asked you, um, you know, if what's the one problem your client has? For me, and I hear it all the time, I spent all this money in marketing, I did all this work, and I didn't get anything back for it. And I'm frustrated and I don't know what to do. Most of my clients, when they come to me, they've tried several avenues to get to that predictive revenue stream. And they are just hitting their head against the wall. That's the problem they have. I don't get it. I've done all this stuff. And then we ask questions. Okay. So when you say you didn't, what about the work didn't work? Well, I spent all this money and I didn't get any leads. Okay. Why are leads? And I mean, we're talking basic stuff, and this sounds basic because it is. And that's what we want to go to. Why? What about the leads wasn't good? Well, and it can vary, but for the most parts, it's either they get leads in, they get a ton of leads, but they're garbage leads. Or if I do get them on the phone, I'm having to fight to sell. I'm talking, 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 and it's this quicksand that I'm in trying to get them to understand the value that I bring. Okay, you just talked about value. Why is value important to you? Well, because I'm charging it's a non-tangible asset. Most of the people I work with, it's not like they're selling a book or they're selling a chair where it's a physical good. It is knowledge or skill transfer and it's non-tangible. Okay. So and we keep going through this exercise to get to, well, what is it that you truly are solving for? I personally am solving for lack of revenue and lack of reputation. And you can transpose those because they're two sides of the same coin. No one knows who I am, or if they do talk to me, they don't really know what I do. And because of that, people don't hire me. Or I have sold to them and then they hire someone else who does the exact same thing I do, but they don't have nearly the amount of experience I do. What? What? I don't understand. So, getting down to that, what you solve. So, for me, when people say that they don't understand why they're not closing the business, or they don't understand why they're hiring someone else. So clearly they had the need, but they decided against me. And I'm like, well, are you doing a Me Too strategy? Are you focusing on price? Are you lowering your price? You know, what's happening during your conversations and all the conversations that you didn't know you were having leading up to the conversation that you did have. If I look you up online, can I tell clearly what it is that you do? If I look at your LinkedIn, is it clear who your audience is and what you do? If I go to your website, is it clear what it is that you do and who you serve? If I talk to a client, are they able to say back to me, oh, yeah, so and so does this, this, and this? If there's not clarity there, you're sharing very nebulous, unformed content and authority that never sticks to anything because no one can really make out what it is. It's just this blob. What we want to do is really focus in so we go, oh, that's a penguin. Got it. So that's what we're looking for when we talk about solving and understanding our brand purpose. And then understanding the value. And this is where I am sure you have a process of how you go through your client work. If you don't have that written down, do write it down. There is such value in doing that because it gives clarity of your process, and you now have an IP that if you decide to merge with a company, sell your company, you have it all nicely documented. And people like documented processes. It makes it very clear how you get them results because now you have clarity. So when you're going through those steps, don't dismiss anything. And if you have a client that just finished the process, ask them if they'd be willing to spend 15 minutes with you to go through it. Um, I was talking to Craig Lauder, and he threw out something that he does that he thought was what everybody did. To him, it was obvious. And to me, it was really the one aspect that made his offering so transformative and why he had such success. And by having this documented process and knowing what areas really just kind of knock people out of their rhythm, knock people out of their habits, because that's really what you're doing, right? You're getting them to look at something in a different way and to engage with it and act on it in a different way. When you have clarity around that, when you share that with your prospects, if you talk about in your content one little area of why that's important or why that should not be the norm for you, you've already provided value. You've already established your authority at that point. And people go, oh my God, this is crazy. Amazing. I have to work with this person. It's a no brainer for you, and it becomes a no brainer for them. I want to stop for a second and see if you have questions, what you're what's showing up for you as I'm talking. Anybody feel brave to raise their hand and volunteer? Anybody?
You're just gonna have to pick on one of us.
I can.
Okay, Tammy.
But I wanted to give other people a chance because I know. Um, so what's showing up for me is everything I do comes back to courage. But like I have my children's side of my business as people see it.
Right.
Even though I'm writing the books for adults to read to children,
Right.
they still see it as children, right?
Yeah.
And then I have my adult side, and what I'm kind of freaking out about in the moment is the last week in March, like I have a meeting with Chick-fil-A where I want to pitch them on some things. I'm also launching my book while I'm in Atlanta, Georgia. And so like I have this dichotomy of things going on when I'm in Atlanta, Georgia the last week of March. And I'm like, how am I tying all this together? Yeah. And how do I help it focus? Because children don't buy books, right?
Right.
It's the
Right.
adults.
It's the adults that buy the books for the children. Yep.
So I think, yeah. So I'm just trying to like figure out my messaging and to get the clarity of why you as an adult are buying this book for yourself to relate to children
Right.
versus
Well,
handing it to a child.
and could it be, to me, it's about touching the child, whether it's your child or your inner child. I mean, that could be a potential aspect. Because I'll tell you, some of the children's book I like to read just because I'm like, oh, this is awesome. And it also takes no time for me to look at it and go, oh, that was so cool. And oh, that was a really good story. And oh, that made me think about something. Adult coloring books. Who knew, right? Coloring books were always for kids, and now we're encouraging them for adults. I know Nona has an adult coloring book that she uses to distress.
Yeah.
So that could be an element there too. Um, for your meeting with Chick-fil-A, um, are they going to be purchasing the book to give out to children, or are can you go into a little more detail? Is that possible?
Sure.
Without,
I
yeah.
randomly met an executive of Chick-fil-A and they've now invited me and asked what they can do for me.
Wow. Okay.
And now I need to figure out in the
Yeah.
next 2 weeks what they can do for me before
Oh,
There,
nice.
arrive.
um,
Nice.
I have a 12-year-old and but when she was younger, she loved going to Chick-fil-A. But I liked their kids' toys because they would do little mini books and they would hand them out. And so it was always, they have really good educational toys rather than just, a piece of crap like McDonald's gives the kids or whatever to
Yeah.
promote a movie. Like Chick-fil-A actually like thinks about what they put in that they can educate the kids with. So they do a lot of books. So anyways, that would be really amazing if you could get your books into
Yeah.
the kids meals. That would be so cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you could do it where it's maybe it's leaning into Chick-fil, it could be like a, I don't want to say branded version, but it's leaning into Chick-fil-A's mission and values and educating children. Yeah, that
Right.
could be really
So
cool.
the other part about that I really want to pitch them on is I can bring their employees together nationally
Yeah.
through my online programs.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah.
And so I'm going back to the clarity in my messaging and my brand, um, on how do I make sure that they don't all of a sudden go like, yes, you can do a coloring book for us. When what I really want is twice a week to be, helping all their employees come together over
Right.
something. And especially as they're going to ready to expand internationally, which
Yeah.
this person that invited me is a huge part of that.
Cool.
So maybe go back to the person who invited you and ask him or her,
Sure.
what about our conversation? What was sparked in you to ask me to come? What's your vision of
Yeah.
what's possible? Instead of guessing, ask. There's no reason you can't.
Hmm.
Okay,
Yeah.
perfect.
Yeah, and that's amazing. And Tammy, I know Nona's going to ask you how it went, and I'm going to be following up with Nona and say, "Ask Tammy, how did it go? What did she learn?"
I want to know.
Yeah,
Right.
because that could
Awesome.
be huge. That could be huge. Yeah,
Yeah, for sure.
and like you
Well,
said, there's several possibilities, which is awesome.
and I'm
Hmm.
debating because their headquarters employs 3,000 people in building.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And so I'm actually even thinking, do I ask them to do a book signing there? Because I can go to Barnes and Noble and have 5 people walk in. I have 3,000 people coming and going to work. Like
yeah,
maybe I ask them about that. But again, I
Yeah.
don't want to get pigeonholed as a children's book author when there's this other opportunity. So
right.
anyway, those you asked what was coming
Yeah,
up for me. That's what's coming up for
yeah,
me, and I appreciate any insight.
Hmm.
yeah, yeah, absolutely. Well, and if you lean into the courage aspect, right? Because you are the courage coach. I think you can, to be courageous means you can be more than one thing. So you can tell them, there's several things that I offer, but I'd like to hear from you. But one of the things I would love to do is, do a book signing. I have both children's books and adult books for children, or adult books. Yeah, I have books around courage, and I can bring the ones that parents read to kids, and I can bring the ones that are adult friendly, right? Because I mean, you have more than one book, so I it's
Hmm.
not like you have to only bring one book. A lot of time
Yeah.
we
Right.
put limits on ourselves, and we say, "Oh, I can." Says who, right?
As long as it's
Right.
the same genre, topic, and industry. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. That's awesome.
Awesome.
I love that. Thank you, Tammy.
Yeah,
Thank
I
you.
hope that works out. That'd be amazing. I bet it
If
will.
this, yeah, I bet it will too. Okay, there we go. Okay, let's talk about using technology for reach. Um, I already talked about the AI barrier and trying to win that warm. There's a couple other areas that I want us to think about. Social media should be used to become a person of influence and to connect with other people of influence. A lot of times we will look at social chasing. How many likes did this get, or how many comments did this get? I would rather you focus on connection that is one-on-one with other people who you feel are influential in your industry and in your community. I like to call some of these people micro influencers. So I'm not talking about trying to find the next Mel Robbins. I'm talking about finding the next person in your community that has impact and that has influence, and that if you connected with, you could get some of their authority power. So we want to, again, stand apart. We want to be trusted. We want to build relationships, and we want to connect with people who can help elevate our status and push us to be more than we are right now. It used to make me crazy when I was in grade school, and my mother would say, be friends with some of the smarter people because they will push you to be smarter. And I was like, but mom, I want to make friends with who I want. And she's like, that's great, but also be friends with the people who are smarter than you, because that way you will be smarter. If you go and you play tennis or golf or whatever sport you might play, you can play with people who are at the same level as you or who are lower than you, absolutely, and have fun. Or you can add in the mix people who are better than you, who have a higher skill set than you, who help you to elevate your skill set simply from the interaction that you're having. I am the authority on authority power. However, there are other people in my community that I know are my North Star. And I connect with them and engage with them because they push me to be better. They push me to be transformative. They spark thoughts within me that I then put out into the universe just from the conversations that I have. We want to be looking for those types of people. And we want to show them some love. Everybody wants to feel that they're cherished and that people respect them. That's never going to go away, no matter how many people. Oprah Winfrey wants to still have people go, I love your show, or I love you, or I love your magazine. We still want to have those accolades. That will never change. See what they're talking about within their posts on LinkedIn. And I specifically lean into LinkedIn because that is where my community is and where my right fit clients are. That's where they live. And that's where they're open to my message of authority power. So if you know someone who, you're like, wow, man, if I connected with that person, how cool would that be? I would learn so much. I would be able to engage with some really amazing thinkers in my industry. If you think about that, there's probably only a handful that come to mind right off the top of your head. Find them on LinkedIn. This is where we do a little bit of stalking. Find them on LinkedIn, connect with them, and while they're considering your connection request, look at their posts and see if they shared a post where you were like, that's really insightful and that made me think blah, blah, blah. And you can share that in the comments and you can repost it and always be adding to the conversation. So, two things you want to think about when you are interacting with other people of influence. We always tag them. Always, 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 always. Always, always tag them, always. At sign and their name. Whether we're reposting it, whether we're commenting, we always tag them. It makes it much easier for them to see that they were mentioned in a comment and they go back and they look. Because again, people like to see that they were mentioned, that someone saw what they wrote and actually liked it. And when we comment, we don't go, good job, so insightful. No, it's an opportunity to share our area of genius and add to the conversation so we show that we can hold our own. So if you see someone that has, that you comment on something, you can say, that made me think of, and you put in a couple of sentences. And this is when we go back and we think about what do we want to be known for, this is where we can highlight that area of genius in a very non-selly way that just shows that we have a big brain and we're not afraid to use it. Hooray. The second piece of content that I'm starting to lead into, and again, it's much easier for AI to scour and absorb, is short form video. People like it because it's bite sized. AI likes it because it's bite sized. Bite sized pieces of short form video, where again, you are sharing a thought, making a comment, asking a question, 90 seconds or less. 90 seconds or less. You should be able to share information in a piece that is very, very short. So that's a great question. Charlotte asked, where does AI pull more short form video from? Anywhere that it's already finding your stuff. YouTube, LinkedIn, podcasts, posts, any of those major, your website, anywhere where it can grab it. So my rule of thumb is I share the short form video anywhere my community is and my right fit clients are, and thereby AI will be, if that makes sense. So if Facebook is your jam and your people are on Facebook, share it there. AI will find it because it's everywhere. But just make it consistent so that, again, just like people, if I follow you, Sorrel, and I know that you post short form video on Facebook, I will look for your short form video on Facebook and I will keep going there. AI will do the same thing. It can get into a habit and a pattern and go, let's look there, let's look there, let's look there, and just gets into that habit. But I try to pick one channel and I just try to dominate it. I lean into it as much as I can. You don't have to be everywhere. There's a misnomer that you have to be absolutely everywhere. Oh, look at that. That's perfect, Tammy. Fantastic. The Courage Coach. Yep. I love it. So Tammy put her stuff into AI and it says Courage Coach, pulled it from Facebook, YouTube, Amazon, Instagram. Yeah, exactly. And it'll show you where it pulled from, which is nice. Or you can ask it, what were the sources for this? Again, AI is more than willing to tell you where it pulled stuff from, which is great. But going back to, there are some people who believe you should be on like several different platforms. To me, I can only scale one mountain at a time. Awesome, Nona. That's great. I can only scale one mountain at a time. Oh, okay. That's okay, Sorrel. That means that we have an assignment to break that AI barrier and to get that AI content. You could say, who is Sorrel? You could test it two different ways for you. You could say, who is Sorrel Roger, realtor, New York City, or who is Sorrel Roger,
I
coach?
said with Sorrel Roger coach, and it brought up false information about me being a man and a soccer coach. that there's no information. My name is so unique. Nobody else has my name in the entire
Right.
world.
Yeah.
Just made it
So,
up.
yeah. So there you go. So then that's something
And
that
my
we'd have to break
website
through.
is the very first thing that comes up on Google, Instagram, and then my website, I think, both
Right.
under Sarong J. So it's so
Yeah.
strange.
Yeah. But that's an opportunity. I look at that as an opportunity. Now we know where we want to lean in, and we want to help AI find you. And we can be feeding it stuff and making sure the content and everything really channels it into that one lane so that it becomes like, oh, okay, Sorrel. But that's good. This is very good. Good to know. Awesome. Love it. Okay. I Let me just go to, okay. All right. Before I go to final thoughts, I hope this has been helpful. I've been loving the interaction. I love the fact that we're talking back and forth. I love the fact that you're actually now really thinking about, oh crap, I need AI to correct this. I need my community to know this. I want you to think about the last time you purchased a car and you test drove a car. Let's say you test drove. I bought a Volkswagen Tiguan. Test drove it. I bought it. The next week, all I saw on the road were Tiguans. They were always there. I just never realized they were there. I
Yeah.
had a category and I saw it, and then my brain started searching for it.
Mm-hmm.
Searching for it, searching for it.
Yep.
Yeah. So if you have an area of genius and you're clear on that, your community, when someone talks about it, they'll go, we're like a meerkat and go, wait a minute, I know who you should talk to. It helps your community and people who could be referral sources for you identify people on your behalf. One thing I didn't mention about technology, and I'm going to throw this in right now. There's something called dark social sharing. So if you think about the last time you shared a video with someone you know, like your best friend, did you post it on the site or did you copy it and send it to them directly and said, dude, watch this and call me back? Right? That's dark sharing. That means that that person, when they shared it with their individual, they targeted the individual on your behalf and they made the source credible for you. And what do you think the percentage is that that individual opened it up and watched it? Pretty much 100%, because someone that they trusted told them to do so. If we make it very clear how our area of genius works, who we serve, and that content mirrors that, we get individuals who maybe they don't need our services, but they know someone who does. And they're targeting on your behalf in the background. That's amazing. To me, that's amazing. I do something called Tackle Tuesday, and I had a gentleman come on who didn't know me, but his friend was like, oh, dude, I look at all of Lisa's content and you have to go on it. She's amazing. And I can't go, but go. Go on my behalf. Ask a lot of questions. I love referrals like that, where someone is like, yeah, I vouch for her and you should use her. Again, I know a guy. Go to. Go, go, go. So that's what we want to do with our content and our authority power. We're tackling things in a variety of ways, but it all leads to really the same action, that people see you as the clear go-to, the no-brainer for that type of work. So we need to understand who that audience is. We need to articulate what problem is actually being solved and being very clear on that. And by understanding our niche and understanding the problem that we solve, our area of genius really comes into focus, and we're able to share that as well. And by really understanding and leveraging our authority power, we can have so much impact in the communities that we serve, where we get more people who raise their hand asking for our services more often and are willing to pay what they are worth because they understand the value that we provide. Now, clearly, I love talking about this. I could talk about this for another hour and just coach all of you. Please connect with me on LinkedIn and subscribe to my newsletter. I give away a lot of free stuff. My brand is to be relentlessly helpful. My mission is to make you the go-to. I'm very clear on what it is that I do. I love helping people. I love educating people. Subscribe to my newsletter. You get a ton of stuff. And if you have something that you thought about and you're like, I could really use Lisa's assistance and I really want to get clarity on this, please send me an email. Let's set up a time to chat. I talked with Sorrel. Sorrel, I think you and I had like a 40-minute conversation, which was so much fun. We had such an amazing time. I love having conversations like this, and I love getting to know you better in your story and who you serve so that I can keep my eye out to see who I can share with you, because I like being able to say, I know a guy. And that's totally, again, the strongest sentence I think could ever be uttered is I know a guy. No matter what side of that sentence you're on.
I need to scoot to the other side of town for a client meeting, but thank you for your time today. I will definitely connect with you, subscribe to your newsletter.
Awesome.
Um,
Awesome.
I'd like to call, but I can also see how you can help us amplify our clients. So it's not just about the work I'm doing, but I love this community. Nona, good to see you. And I do need to touch base with you. We got published in another.
Oh, good.
Yeah, so we'll make sure you get that so we can amplify that.
Good. Yeah, Lisa,
Awesome.
Susan worked with Russell.
Oh, fantastic.
Got one. Say the name of it was it was a long title, but it's basically based off your book, The Nine.
Does your business show up or stand out? It's 9 traits of high performing
traits.
companies, and it's
Nice.
subtitled how better
fantastic.
experiences by design spur growth. So it's got a lot of tentacles, but
Nice.
health and wellness company up in Canada picked it up, and HVAC picked up. So two, but we'll.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Can't find the magic of it yet. Who's attracted to what? But anyway.
Yeah.
I love it. Well, awesome. Well, I'm going to stop recording. Thank you so much. This was fantastic.